Norma Smith, 93. I was born in Sutton, Nebraska, May 28, 1927. And I lived on a farm. I lived in Sutton, Nebraska, and I worked at the Harvard Army Air Base in Harvard, Nebraska. Parachute rigger. I went for a job, and that's the job that they sent me to when I went for the job. I worked for about a year, I think, there, and then I left there to go home, go to the farm, and I took care of my brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay.
When my mother had to go to the TB hospital.
Oh,
I think we must have had about 10, 15 people that worked at the parachute department, and some were GIs that were soldiers at the air base. Oh, it was interesting. It was a job. Well, when I first went to that department, I didn't like it too much because they had a big, what they called it, a well, where they hung parachutes, and they had the smell of naphtha flakes in there.
Yeah.
That made me sick for about a week. Yes, one of my girlfriends from high school worked there. So, and then there were a lot of other girls that worked there not from my hometown, but from a town close by.
Yeah.
That worked there. Everybody from Sutton and Harvard worked at the air base at that time. Well, when I was so young, I don't know if I even thought too much about it, really.
Yeah.
There were a lot of soldiers at the air base, of course. So that was interesting. Well, yeah, I had a friend that was in the service, a friend that I went out with once in a while. I think there were a couple fellows that had lived on the farm when the service that had gotten killed during the war. He also packed parachutes, and that's how I met him. And then my girlfriend she met a fellow there, and so they had both come out to my house for supper one day. And then he after I started going with him, he was kind of a regular at the house.
Yeah.
And then he went back to New Jersey. I guess he was being, let out of the war. And he went back to New Jersey. And so I don't know if he was going to come back or not, but I know my grandfather, he said he insisted I take a trip out to Trenton, New Jersey to see him, because he says, I've seen a lot of girls that become old maids, He didn't want me to be an old maid. So I took a trip to New Jersey by train. And then he come back to the farm with me, because I think his grandmother and grandfather insisted that he go back to Nebraska.
Aww.
else probably he never would have. But anyway, so then after a while we got married.
Aww. That's so cute. Did you hear the story? Yeah.
In 1946, I think that was. Yeah, that was. A lot of farms were, because the boys that lived on the farm, they had to go. Had to go to the service. So that's when my brother went to the service. Yeah, my dad and my grandfather